We are fantasized about having animals around us. Though we have animals around us, we have our little selfishness not to change our lifestyles, which impacted in uh, either injuries or deaths of urban wildlife, and also the animals that move around in the corridors in the nearest jungles that we have. It can be birds, it can be snakes, it can be dogs, it can be deers. We don't generally care about them because we are busy building our own lifestyle. Again, I take immense privilege to introduce the next speaker because 2020, if I remember when post-COVID, when I came back to India, I was reading an article about a 35-year-old who saved around 70,000 animals in and around the cities and the concrete jungles. This is someone who, during that article, when I was reading that article, is a superhero by himself who was a web developer by in the night and a rescuer in the morning. I take immense privilege to call upon Mr. Pradeep Nair to speak about the non. This is again the non-fancy part of wildlife. This is where we ignore, and he has been doing some tremendous work with AWS. So over to Pradeep Nair.
It's really great to see so many people here, so much interested in in very much needed topics here. And thanks for inviting me. And thank you, sir. I met you all again. Yeah, I don't waste much time. I will go very quickly on understanding urban wildlife because Hyderabad is such a big city. It's keep on expanding, and there are so many regular conflicts happening of the wildlife and animals around Hyderabad because it is expanding. There is so much of rich biodiversity sites in Hyderabad city, like we have lakes and we have big forests like KBR Park and all. But as there is too much of pressure on these animals, they often come into the human habitats and there will be a conflict situation. Most of us, we are unaware of suddenly if we see a jungle cat or a snake in our house, we'll get so much panic. But we need to understand they are there since even we coming before into the city. So we need to understand the coexistence of urban wildlife, how we can coexist with urban wildlife. This is just about what is urban wildlife and what are the threats they are facing and how you are going to help them with basic steps, and also what is Animal Bodies doing. And by the way, I'm Pradeep from Animal Bodies Conservation Society. I think I didn't introduce myself. Yeah. So basically, urban wildlife is nothing but wild animals which are thriving around suburbs. Like, have you ever seen any wildlife in the city? Any wildlife? Yes. Even in our bedroom, we can see wildlife sometimes. Like we have geckos, we have garden lizards, we have so many birds, and so many critters around us. Sorry? Monitor lizards. Hi. Sorry. And so many species around us which we are not aware of, which we never observe, and they thrive among us. There's so many spiders in our toilet, we don't see them. We have daddy long legs always around. We don't know what species is it and we never try to understand them. That is one thing that we think wildlife means it should be in a forest. We always think wildlife should be somewhere like in a big forest like Sri Salem forest or Nagarjuna Sagar forest or something like that. But no, there are wildlife among us also. We need to understand what are the best. See, I just given a basic representation of how a mongoose is enjoying their Cheetos packet. This is not my picture, I have downloaded it in this. They do eat a lot of Cheetos. Thanks. Yeah, what are the habitats? What are the suitable habitats for urban wildlife, which we regularly see? We get a lot of rescues around these habitats usually. We have national parks. Do you know? Do you have any idea which national parks do we have in Hyderabad? KBR. Mahavir. Vanasali National Park. Mrugavani we have. So these are very big national parks, and KBR is one of the big, very natural space which is inside the core city. Have you ever seen? Have you ever been to KBR? And have you ever seen any animals around? Yeah, there's mongoose. There's so many pythons around. You know, they always come on the road during the monsoon, and again they just enjoy this pathway also. People often get. I remember I rescued a python there. Two pythons in 2 days, consecutive days. First python, it was a big pressure for us. We had to take away the python because nobody in the people who are around that area. It's got around 12 o'clock in the evening, night. They didn't allow us to release inside the cave. They made a big mess out of it. But we explained, we kept explaining them this is the issue. We don't need to translocate this python to some other location and all. But the next day when we went, the news reporters who were there, the next day he is the guy who saw the python, and he directly told me that let's not make it a big fuss. Then forest department also came, and we safely caught the python and handed it over to the forest department. They went inside to release somewhere. So basically, this is what happens. When we are in a rescue situation, we explain how we can coexist with this wildlife. So we don't need to translocate every animal into bigger forests. So that is one key thing. So in national parks, dump yards. Dump yards are my favorite. We have so many dump yards around the city, and we think they are harmful to the nature. Of course they are harmful, because of course waste management in our nation is a big joke right now. There is no management of the waste. It's just waste there. If you go so much of waste around the dump yards, but slowly we started observing, though I'm not a researcher, but I'm curious about wildlife and nature around me. We understood that so much of wildlife is dependent on this species. I think there is infamous dump yard elephants, right? Have you ever? Yeah. Yes. Elephants also started being dependent on dump yards. Of course, that is one unfortunate incident, but elephants is like not non-urban species, but still. But in urban sites like Hyderabad, we have so much. There's a big dump yards. One is in Jawahar Nagar, one is in Pragati Nagar. We have now the very new dump yard, very beautiful dump yard coming up in Aminpur. Aminpur is becoming a dump yard nowadays. And you can see so many species around. And that dump yard has started just behind my house. Yeah, it's very beautiful sight for me. I take my camera. Of course, I do a little bit of wildlife photography. I sit in my balcony and I watch this dump yard every day. And I see so much of mongoose, so many peacocks around, and so many black kites around. So dump yards are also being a part of habitats for wildlife. And lakes. That's Hyderabad itself is. I'm speaking much about Hyderabad here because I am from Hyderabad. And if you are from different parts, you can correlate that. We have very beautiful lakes around the city, and with a rich biodiversity lakes. Aminpur, so you must be knowing. That's Aminpur. He stays close to Aminpur. Of course, now it is not that beautiful, but earlier it was one of the hot spots for all the wildlife photographs. They used to travel from different states to just visit, to have a glimpse of the famous bird, greater flamingos. We have so many flamingos over there earlier, but nowadays you can't see anything. It's just a concrete jungle. But still, we have so much rich lakes around the city, like Neknapur Lake we have, and we have this Kajagoda Lake, and many other lakes which still attract so much of migrant birds to Hyderabad. And of course, you may think we don't have agricultural lands around the city. Yes, we do have agricultural lands, at least close to Outer Ring Road. There's so many agricultural lands around close to. And I run a bird center, which is in a 9-acre mango farm. And next to my center is full of agricultural lands. And there's so much of wildlife around. We have wild hares there. We have jackals, or not jackals, I'm extremely sorry. We have jungle cats. There's so much of jungle cats around that area. and establishments. Have you, I think you've been following the university case, right? HCU. You know how many species there are? There are around 400 plus spotted deers and much more wildlife. There are so many other species in universities. It's such a big establishment. And not only in University of Hyderabad. Have you ever been to Usmania University? Even Usmania University have a very good space where there's so much of wildlife is thriving. And there is, I remember I went to rescue a dog which fell in a well in Survey of India in Uppal. Nobody knows what is Survey of India. It's just a government body or some 20-30 acres of land. And I went into the well and I came out around dark and suddenly I saw 60 to 70 deers running in the campus. It was amazing to see wildlife in these campuses. These campuses are also playing very important role. And I really appreciate Microsoft in Gachibowli. The management there, whenever we go for a rescue of a bird or a wildlife, they always ask us to release a snake or a bird into the same campus. And no IT people have ever asked me to do that. They are so scared of snakes, of course. But these people are like, they wanted to make their habitat. They wanted to keep their campus intact and supportive to the wildlife. So such are the mindset of some people who are still exist and encourage the campuses to be supportive to the urban wildlife. Yeah. And what are the species which we have? Basically, this is a very short. I'm not. It is not a quite very scientific data, but whatever general common person perspective data. Okay. So basically, we have so much of birds. We have around 300 plus species of birds in Hyderabad, and we have so many of reptiles. Have you ever encountered a snake in your house? No.
Yes.
Which snake?
Russell's.
Russell's. Which snake you have seen? No, I just okay, sorry. Russell's vipers, cobras, sandboas, rat snake, wine snakes, checkered keelback. And do you know that there is one rare snake? Akhil, you might be knowing. Indian egg-eater. The first specimen in entire South India was found in Hyderabad. And it's a very rare. Huh? Yes, in VHL. Yeah.
And the second one was around Hyderabad.
Second one was Vikarabad. That was smaller specimen, right? In BHL they found a bigger one. Because I was a member of Friends of Nick, I still feel proud of that, and I'll go into that part later.
So not to forget the South sand snake.
South sand snake, yes. These are very rare snakes, okay, which are even spotted in these very fast growing cities like Hyderabad. And we have chameleons. Have you ever seen a chameleon around? Yeah. There's so many chameleons around the city. Soft shell turtles, flap shell turtles. So you might already know that term right now. So many turtles around the city. Now I think yesterday, a couple of days ago, so we got a call saying that they found a turtle in the middle of the road. Usually the turtles during the monsoon, they try to migrate from one wet zone to other wet zone. Could be searching for a mate or at least making a nest. Unfortunately, they cross the roads. They don't know there has been a road lane. They try to cross and a car crashes. And it was so sad to see such sights. And we have rescued a couple of such turtles and we tried to stitch them up. And successfully, one such turtle is with us, whose shell was broken and we tried to repair it. And it was from past 3 years it is with us. But that is not a wildlife. It is, yeah. Thank you. We did very experimental work, but still with seal and everything, it worked well. And we have so much of star tortoises in Hyderabad. I can tell you there are so many star tortoises. Okay, don't take this information and leak it anywhere, and people stay hunting, okay? Because I have been contacted by some of the researchers, and we have given some data to them about the star tortoise. I'll tell you, it's a very good habitat. Hyderabad itself is a very good habitat for star tortoises. Unfortunately, I remember, she's my wife, by the way. Me and my wife and Amar, partners, we were going through that small patch of forest behind my house. And we saw three guys there, and they lit a fire. It was very unusual to lit a fire in the afternoon. So we were like, I just took my camera and I was asking what did you do? What are you doing? And all. This is a friendly manner. And they said, like, we found some turtles, we weren't burning them. Then they wanted to cook them and eat. And such. I was there and I saw their star tortoise. There were 3 star tortoises and he tried to cook and eat them. And I was so shocked. I never heard about someone eating a star tortoise. Usually, we generally know that they are into trade. And we surprised and we saw his mobile and we seized his mobile and we went to the police department, forest department, and we have seized the turtles. And he's been hunting a lot of wildlife in that particular space. There are some monitor lizards which he already hunted and ate, and he's trying to eat the star tortoise. Lucky for the tortoise, we came there on spot and could save them. Yeah, and some are like some species like these are mammals. You can see mammals around us are like rhesus macaques. Can anybody name this? Non-experts. Hanuman langur. That one? Jungle cats. Recently, you have heard about the Miyapur metro station issue. Suddenly, they saw a leopard, and it was a big news. And the entire department were there, and they were all the experts were on high alert, saying there is a leopard. They actually saw a jungle cat. Of course, jungle cats are very big and they were very thick. We rescued a jungle cat some few years ago here in this 100-feet road. It was spine broken. It is trying to cross and vehicle hit, spine broken, and we couldn't save her. Very close to this space. Obviously, that guy is palm squirrel. We have so many squirrels around. And have you seen this guy? Even I didn't see this guy in Hyderabad very closely. We were in their operations of tracking these leopards around the city. But there are so many leopards still coming into the city and going off. I'm not scaring you guys, I'm telling it is actually urban spaces are becoming either a passage for this wildlife or some micro habitats are being formed in this city so that they can thrive it. Usually leopards like this picture I think is from Mumbai. If someone can identify. There's someone like the famous Mumbai, what we call them? Leopards? Mumbai leopards? Aravalli leopards or something. There is a tag for this. There are so many urban leopards around Mumbai, and we do have often, at least in 5 years, one incident of leopard is coming to the city. And this guy? Yeah. And have you heard this news of a bear on the Charminar, some building near Charminar? It was also big news. And everybody rushed there and they saw like a bear camp. People called us and they said like, not us, forest department, they called. There was a sloth bear which came and was roaming on the someone's building and all. It was like palm civet. It was so small, palm civet was so small. So people often get confused about these species, that one thing happens. But they do thrive in urban cities. I'm from Kerala, so palm civets are like cats. We often see them in our houses. They always sit on the roof. And I remember I rescued a palm civet from Federal Bank's headquarters in Kerala. The Federal Bank is from Kerala. They have a very big building, and the palm civet was roaming in the false ceiling. And she's peeing just in the office of director. And he's sitting, and you can see the patches of. She made the house just on top of the head of the director's office, and it was just stinking so badly. And he called me, and we went there, and we tried to rescue. We told I said I can't catch him, we need to do the technical rescue. So we opened all the vents, and I said put some baiting and all. After a week, she left. And we made some traps and with the department. After a week, she left that area, so they have closed. We set up some cameras to monitor. Once they are left outside, they started closing these vents. And finally, they are also happy that Civet has left their office, because I was surprised to know that Civet sitting inside a concrete building. Usually Civets usually stay around barns and other areas, but nowadays they have started thriving around the concrete places also. Next, please. Yeah, reptiles. We have so many reptiles around the city. This one, infamous cobra, Indian spectacle cobra. And the most of the snakes caught in the city, I don't know the entire data, but I used to be very active snake trackers, just like Akil. I and Amar was like crazy about snake rescues, just because we used to get so many rescues. My record was around 18 plus rescues per day. On one day, that was one day, I remember. We counted it, and that was massive, because there was so many snakes, and if there is too much of temperature rise, there is sudden drop in temperature or sudden change in the climate, like rains or something happens, there will be occurrence of snakes around the city. And most of the cobras are very common in the city. This is not a rare sight. We can easily find a cobra all around the city. And as I mentioned, star tortoise, this is chameleon. And this guy? These are monitor lizards. Very common species, but is very rarely seen, because they stay in very thick patches, like a better forests, like we have around the lakes or some rocky areas and all. And this guy? Yeah. We caught this guy in center of the city. We caught a mugger in Chintal Basti. Anyone from close to Chintal Basti? Chintal Basti, yeah. It was around 5.5 feet. As a massive guy, and we were shot. Sighting as Chintal Basti is almost like center of lower Tanpan, near the Hussain side. So this guy, muggers, they regularly move around this Musi river, and suddenly they may try to get onto the ground, and people get panicked. And obviously it was a massive operation, it was a very risky operation, because people were curious. Even we are curious to know how this animal has ended up there. And there were 300, 400 people, so we had to get so much of police, just like the HCU, Imran sir, you remember we have done this massive crowd. Recent the HCU spotted here also. It was so messed up situation there, but still we could safely bring that. And that was my second mugger rescue. And I was shivering like this, and I'm happy that my team they blindly trust me. I said go and catch the mugger, they catch the mugger. They don't ask any questions. Thanks for that. And that's it, we have done that. I'm telling that there are some sightings of such species around the city. It's not like these species are only seen in big rivers or very thick forests or something like that. Yeah. And of course, we have so much of birds. If I start putting the birds, we can't fill this space. It will be so many of this. Can you identify these species? Barn house and this one? Yeah, this is roasting parakeet. These are very common around the city. And many people still don't believe we have owls in the city. So many owls in the city, and barn owls are very much needed. They stay in our sometimes big apartments. They hunt. Do you know that each barn owl can eat at least 10 mice per day when they are in breeding season? So they are controlling the rodent population, and they are there to help us. And obviously they eat all our guavas or mangoes, obviously. And what are the threats to the wildlife? Okay, basically urbanization, these are very common topics. Deforestation, poaching activities, as I said, someone was hunting these star tortoises around the city. And pollution, obviously. Pollution in the sense, you may use EV vehicles, you may not pollute this space, but unknowingly we may pollute some lakes or something where these birds or fish may get entangled into that and ultimately die. And traffic and disposals. One of the major, One of the major threat is disposal, which an individual can actually change their habits to save this species. And invasive species, I'll tell you, this is one of the biggest threat I can see in the lakes. Like earlier Sujit was mentioning about this red ear sliders. Many people, they buy these red ear sliders from pet shops, and after a while they grow very big and you can't keep them in the house. What you do, out of love, you think that this species can survive in a bigger lake. You wanted to give them freedom and you take this red ear slider and dump in the lakes. But red ear slider is not an Indian species, it's an exotic species, it's a non-native species, and these sliders start overpopulating in this lake, urban lake spaces, and they become competitions to flagshell turtles and other turtles, and they eat lot of vegetation and lot of fish in the lake, and entirely the ecosystem will fall. So invasive species, and if you have any turtles, don't release them into the wild. If you have any red sliders, don't release them into the wild, you can re-adopt them if you want. Feral issue is very common, and feeding irresponsibly. Out of love, we keep feeding birds, right? We put a lot of feeding stations in our house, waiting for the birds to come. You may expect a sparrow, but you will get a pigeon. So it is not recommended to feed any wildlife, because all this wildlife, every animal except these dogs, which are like okay, but all these other species, they are meant to search for food. A bird is supposed to fly at least 30 to 40 kilometers per day. Then only they have this proper physical strength and proper immunity. So they can survive many diseases. But unfortunately, people feed these birds like pigeons. They congregate and they just come down and eat. They go sit on your floor, on your terrace, and they poop a lot. They don't do any exercise. So they are carrying so much of new diseases like PMB and avian pox, and these diseases are spilling into wildlife and killing so much of species. Because we are running a bird center, we can see so many, we at least rescue 10 to 20 pigeons per week with a severe pox virus. And this is due to many people may hate pigeons. Pigeons didn't do anything bad, only the humans did the bad by feeding them. Okay? But if you go into the villages, you still see so many pigeons flying around the farms, eating whatever seeds they find on the drops. There is no threat there, only in the city, because we are feeding them. And one more specific to the Hyderabad is, the worst situation is manja. How many people you know that nylon manja is banned in India? Everybody? Yeah. But you can still buy a manja, not in kite store. Even if you go to a vegetable stall during the January to December festival seasons exclusively, holiday season I say. Festival, if I speak about festival, people make it offended. So it's a holiday season. During Jan, and because we have good breeze coming in that period, so people try to enjoy this kite festival. You can buy manja everywhere, even it is banned. Why it is being done? Because there is a demand. If there is a demand, obviously there will be a supply. So even all the departments, all the NGOs here, we regularly conduct awareness meetings, campaigns and everything with the public and everything, but still there will be a lot of manja being sold. It's just because there is so much of demand. Young children, they still want to, even young children are ready to avoid manja, but the parents are not ready. They say, how can I not let my child have the fun? Then we tell, we are not asking you to stop flying the kites. You can still fly kites using cotton thread. And we, as animal warriors, our last year's record says we saved around 1600 plus birds exclusively from manja. So it was so harrowing to see such massive impact of manja to the birds, and we don't know how many are dying. Last week also we rescued, there is one tree and 5 crows were hanging in manja. Crows are so social birds. One crow gets entangled, everyone are curious and they come and close by and everybody get entangled. 3 of them died on spot, 2 we could rescue. So it was so sad. And imagine the mortality rate. I'm only saying 1600 birds which we rescued, and how many birds which are already dead in the streets. We don't know, right? If dead, they call us, we also said we can't do anything. We ask them, let the bird hang there. It will be a message to the people. So we leave that dead bird there. We don't want to, because it's too risky to climb the electric line or bring the bird down. It is a message to the people. So such is the impact. And the second picture, this picture is taken from Aminpur Lake. Can anyone identify this bird? The yes, Manas, we must know. So this darter, the beak of the darter is stuck in. It's a small bandana or something which we used to put around our head during festivals like Vinayak Chavithi. We go as a procession, we put some bandanas, right? Or we decorate the god's procession vehicle. People dump this along with the immersion happen. And this is made of plastic and cloth. Unfortunately, this particular species of darter, they hunt underwater. They dive down, they actually spear into a fish, they bring the fish up, they toss it and they eat. She is able to kill the fish, but she is unable to gulp it because the mouth is being very tightly entangled. Such a bird, the bird can fly, the bird can swim underwater. It's very hard for a bird to catch such rescue. It took us 4 days to capture this particular bird and remove this piece from the male. Because this is very common rescue which we regularly see. And this is one bird which often get troubled by these lake plastics always. And we have issues like Chinese manja, plastic disposals, as I mentioned this one. Firecrackers, so many birds die of shock during the firecrackers. I'm not speaking about the festival here. Even in RCB 1, there were firecrackers, right? I'm talking about the firecrackers, not about the festivals here. Noise pollution, of course, DJs and all. If you are close to any forest areas, or if your house have a big tree and full of birds, anything, don't play loud noises. They may get into shock and they ultimately die. And they may, sometimes the mother, if they are breeding, they have eggs inside or they have babies, chicks. If the mother dies, you are actually killing 4 other species, baby birds also. So we never know. Of course, poaching is very common. And how can you help them? Now you know the threats around the city, very vague information which we have given already, but still you know what are the threats around you. And how can you help them? First you understand your habitat. Go around your, you go for walks in your parks and all, right? If you stay around the gated community or around. Try to observe what are species you have. Try to take a record of it. You want me to start? Okay, I'm going very quickly anyways. Try to go around, understand these species. Even a small spider, you try to make a note out of it. And even a small bird which you see, try to be curious. Try to encourage your children to be curious. I mean, don't encourage them to go and catch a snake or something, but ask them to at least observe and draw it and research about it and study about it. So know about it and understand their importance. Why do we need sparrows around? Most of you might have known that there are lack of sparrows in urban spaces. Why they are being not seen in the cities? Most of us think it is radiation. Most of us is a habitat loss is the first primary, because due to lack of food, due to lack of habitats, because house sparrows are called as house sparrows. They can only build a nest inside a human habitat, or a building, or a barn, or an old house or something. They will never make nest inside a tree. So that's why they are called as house sparrows. Earlier days we used to be in a tiled roof houses or thatched roof houses. Sparrows can make some nest inside the spaces. We are okay with that. Nowadays we are in a concrete jungle. Even if there is a small crack in our house, we try to close it. We don't want the water to seep in. So these parrots search around, and they don't find the space, and ultimately they leave these urban landscapes. And why they are very much important around our gardens is they eat a lot of insects. They eat a lot of insects, and when during the breeding period, they hunt at least 40 to 50 insects per season, per day. We have observed it very closely, and we do a project called Bring Back Sparrows. If you are interested, you can contact us. We make this box. This box is set up in my house for observation, and this is very scientifically made. Only sparrows can fit in. No other species can go into. So we just have to place a sparrow box, and they start breeding, and they start protecting my garden. I made them a free label for my garden. Yes. Always keep an eye, always be watchful around your community. If somebody is trying to go suspiciously into a forest or carrying a stick or some tools into the thickets around you, they might be poachers. So be alert and raise some alarm around them. And always dispose responsibly. Of course, this is not very easy job. I'll tell you, not at all very easy. We also try to be very responsible, but it's not very easy job. But still, we can try, giving a try. Like I say, I go to schools, a lot of schools, and do the awareness program. I tell them, don't buy chocolates of 1 rupee or smaller packets. Ask your dad to buy a bigger packets, and they are happy about it because they get a bigger chocolate. Because the smaller bits of plastics are never recycled. They can't never be recycled. So even that is also a responsible purchasing, responsible buying. Whether we need to buy a bigger tub of oil than a 1 liter packet of oil, which is easier to be recycled, which is easier to be reused. We should think like that and dispense responsibly. And always report if there is a threat to any animal. Try to report in your nearby community, nearby police or nearby forest department, or at least any NGOs nearby, and raise voice. Like in some communities, we see there will be some trees with a very big, very good nesting space. Like these egrets, they nest a lot, but they poop a lot when they are nesting. And some guy doesn't want this tree inside the community. He will chop it off. So try to raise voice. Try to at least let them wait until the breeding season has been crossed. They may cut the tree, but at least follow the protocols and wait until the chicks have been grown and gone out. Then he may remove if it's a unanimous decision from the community. But still you need to pay at least 50 rupees challan to the government. Now it is 50 or more, I am not sure. There are tree laws which we need to pay some fine to the government. Then only we can cut a tree. And always support NGOs like Sujit's, Imran Sah's, everybody. There are so many NGOs in the city. Try to support them whatever ways you can. We are not asking only money. We are not asking you donations. Do share. At least if they are posting some information or we are posting some information, say no to manja, some information in my social media, try to share them. Support the cause by at least sharing or spreading the message to the common people. And try to be part of such initiatives. Try to involve. I'll tell you, now I'm standing in a stage where I'm giving talk to people like you. I remember Imran was visiting Blue Cross. I was sitting in the audience. And that's where I met you first, yeah. In Blue Cross. I was a volunteer in Blue Cross. And someone from Friends of Nick came and they were giving a talk about. I take part in all these talks. I try to involve in this community. I went into Friends of Snakes, Amar went into Haitikos. See how we both started one more organization. We are just extending the cause. We are not becoming competitors to any NGOs. We are just extending the cause in a different thematic area. Only these ideas or these motivation will only come when you are being part of such initiative as today. So try to involve in such initiatives. If someone is conducting a lake cleanup drive, or recently we had a seed ball program. It was a very good responsive program. We got a lot of people coming and made some seed balls because we can distribute it, throw these seed balls during the monsoons. Any such activities. We do follow a lot of celebrities anyways. You also try to follow these NGOs also. you may get an opportunity to get inspired and motivate. We don't know, tomorrow new organizations may start, you can start new organizations like this and create a bigger impact. And I always say recycle, reduce, reuse, refuse plastics. Try to do that as much as possible. Even I'm preaching, you may think that this guy is non-plastic guy. You can see at least there is so much of plastic around me. We can't survive right now without plastic, but at least try to reduce or reuse such plastics. Okay, you can visit my house. My wife is very good with gardening. She have reused all these 5-liter oil tins, sunflower oil tins, and made some holes, and she put a lot of plants. Most of our garden is made of reused plastics. So you can try that small tricks. It was possible again by responsible purchase. She wanted oil, I didn't buy 1 liter oil, I bought 5-liter oil. So I'll get a free flour pot later. So such things we can think about. Yeah. Remember, this is very important. This slide I had it just in the morning when I woke up. I wanted this message to be passed to the common people and rescuers or enthusiasts. Whenever you see any wildlife in danger, what do you do? Or not about wildlife, any animal in danger. Out of passion, we immediately try to save this animal. The first common notion of our idea to save any animal which is in stress is to provide some food. Our culture says that, at least provide some water to them. But it is becoming very damaging nowadays, because many people, they find small chicks, birds. Birds are literally, the chicks of the birds are literally blind, but they are very active. When anybody moves close to them, they try to open the mouth. You may find a chick in the road which fell down from a nest or something. You want to rescue it. You find it keeps opening the mouth. The immediate instinct you feel is she is asking something, water or something. You try to take a pill of water and try to pour inside the mouth. Are you helping the animal in that way? Actually, you are killing the animal, because a bird will never feed her chick water. She can't carry water from the lake or somewhere back and pour in the mouth of the water. So water is not necessary for any chick. Why it is very dangerous? Even for an adult bird, if you are rescuing, never try to pour water. Why it is? Because there is an opening just behind the mouth. This is called glottis. This is just behind the tongue. That actually connects directly to bird's lungs. We do also have some glottis around. So this is opened when the bird is in stress, because she wants to take more air into the breath, so to cool her body. So they open the mouth like this, and the glottis also open because of stress. And as we pour water, we are actually suffocating the animal. We are trying to pour the water inside the glottis and killing the bird instantly. Half of our chick rescues come like this. By the time they reach our center, they will be dead, because their lungs are full of water. They bulge up. Immediately we call the caller and ask, did you pour water? He said, yes, I have fed water. Obviously, I know that the bird will never survive, because it's a very tiny bird. There are no CPR ways we can save that bird. We can't do CPR to such birds. Not all miracles may happen in NGOs also. We may not save all the animals. We can save whatever technology we have, we could save that. So try not to do anything, but try to move the bird in a safe condition, put it in a dark space, or put it in a cardboard. Don't leave them outside, and wait for the right NGOs. I'm again telling, if you see an injured bird or an injured animal, don't call any orphanage. That's a common sense which we know. We know which NGO to be contacted. Many a times people call police. That is a very good sign. We don't know. We may not know the NGOs around us. We may try to contact police. Police may get confused and they may call forest department. They also get confused and they may call animal husbandry. Such way they try. But it's always important, if you are very, very, very interested about this rescues and all, you try to save these numbers of these NGOs around you, and check whether they are capable of handling a wildlife. You ask them, are you a wildlife NGO? If you want to rescue a bird, If it's a dog which is injured, you can ask them while you're calling, are you ready? You may not call Haitikos and tell there is a dog injured, please take the dog because I met you, Imran, I met you in the meet. Can you do that? No. Same, we can't call different organizations. So try to understand these organizations around you and keep the helplines intact, okay? And kindly do not feed any animal in this distress. Of course, if only by the recommendation of a veterinary or the organization. By the time we reach there, it may take a lot of time. So we may suggest you how to feed the animal. Okay? Yeah. And this is very important thing which you always add during the awareness sessions. There are only two topics here. One is ego and eco. Let's not be very egoistic. Let's be very eco-friendly and be a part of the ecosystem. Let's not be very egotistical. We are, yeah, thank you. I always say we are most evolved animal, but we are animal. Yeah, there is a small tagline in front of us that we are evolved. So we should respect that evolution, that we can use our brain and protect the nature. We are here to save the nature. Rest, all the animals are doing their best job in the world. Like a snake is controlling rodents, rodent is controlling insects, and some other species is controlling snakes. It's a cycle has been built, and they are doing their job perfectly. Only we are sometimes ignoring this job. So I would highly recommend try to be part of this ecosystem and try to coexist with this ecosystem around us. Yeah. Yeah. And my NGO's name is Animal Warriors Conservation Society, pretty big name, AWCS. Yeah. I'm going very quick on this. Next. I do have next. It's a break. What we do is we do conservation, we do rescue, and we do awareness. This is one awareness session which I consider. We do a lot of rescue spaces where we save wildlife, we save dogs and cats and other animals which are trapped or stuck somewhere. We can rescue a cat which is well in a bore well of 100 feet. Bore well is 6 inch wide. We can do that. We have experience in getting into big wells. We have experience in climbing big towers and bring these animals out. And if you want to know more about us, follow us and connect with us. We have amazing conservation projects, community-based conservation projects. Like I said, bring back sparrows and such initiatives. These are the few rescues which we have done. This is a flamingo whose wing was fractured by manja again in Patancheru Lake. This is from Aminpur Lake. It's a, can anyone identify the snake? Yeah, checkered keelback, which was stuck in a fishing net. And there's a crow who lost both the legs of manja. Imagine the life of the crow after that. But she could survive. We could release the bird safely in a safe habitat. It's a green bee eater recently which we rescued. Not recently, through 2-3 years. Anyone can identify this species? Which vulture? Indian, any other? Eurasian griffon vulture. Seeing this species inside the city itself is very rare. And this guy has been hanging in a manja. Imagine such a big, heavy body bird, and when my rescuer tried to climb the tree and rescue him, we had to catch this bird using a dog catching net. We have a very big dog catching net, so huge, and he tore his jeans apart. So fiercely bird. And after knowing this, we had to send it to zoo now. I think he's in vulture breeding program because he had some wing issue. I'm not sure, but we had to submit because it's a Schedule 1 species. Schedule 1 I remember. And spotting a vulture itself is very rare. So such rare species also being impacted in this city. And of course after this the callers have contacted us, the reporter said, I remember the government has said like they will give 10 lakhs, can you give me 10 lakhs because they have shot the vulture. Earlier there was this Andhra Pradesh government said like, I don't know if it is real, but I heard it from many people that if you spot a vulture, they will give a prize reward of 10 lakhs. And they were demanding us to give us 10 lakhs. I said, no, it's a joke, you can't get 10 lakhs from us. And this is the mugger which we rescued from Chintal was removed and she was sitting on it. Yeah, it was very interesting rescue. You can be part of us, so you can be handling such initiatives. Yeah. And there is, obviously, I love this. There's no planet B, and there is no plan B also. Okay? Always try to follow these steps. We not only do these rescues in the urban area, we have amazing project in oceans. We are retrieving the ghost nets. We are very few first organizations retrieving the ghost nets from underwater and trying to recycle them to reduce the pollution of coastal environments. Okay? And if you want to save our helpline for any emergencies, kindly take this number 969 788 788. And if you spot any species, wildlife, or anything, if you want any support from animal rescue or anything, you just contact us. We will guide you through and we will come and rescue the species. And thank you for that. And yeah, thanks for having so much of patience.
With which I started. One touch of nature can make the whole world akin. So we are all, the minute we start imbibing the values of saving nature, we start coming together irrespective of our caste, creed, religion, and anything. So that's probably the only way in the current world where we can live together without any conflicts, without any any quarrels between nations, between people, between castes and creeds. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, all the speakers. Because due to time constraint, we are not having a brief of what Wild Telangana has done. We are trying to push it to the time when we are actually screening our first documentary, which we have done on grasslands of Telangana. We just want to play a quick trailer of what we did. We just wanted to. It's probably 1.5 years of hard work of volunteers from VWOLFS, from Wildlife AP, Wild Telangana coming together to create an awareness on the grasslands. Most of the non-wildlife people think that grasslands are just there for us to wipe them off and have real estate coming up. So we just wanted to create an awareness. A quick trailer, a 1-minute trailer, which will be followed by a group photo. And I would like to thank Cliff for providing the space and the infra for us, so that we all can come together, talk something about nature. I mean, this is what we can give our next generation. This is the greatest gift that we can give. Imbibe the qualities of saving nature and making an awareness of how important nature around us is.